Hi everyone, welcome to the channel dedicated to sharing the profound insights and wisdom of Andromedan contactee Alex Collier. If you're new here, you're in for a journey that expands your mind and consciousness, bringing you closer to understanding the messages from the fifth density Andromedan extraterrestrials. For those returning, we're grateful for your continued support. Before we dive into today's enlightening content, we have a small favor to ask. If you find value in the knowledge shared in this video, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your engagement helps us amplify Alex Collier's message, allowing us to reach a larger audience with these vital messages. We'd also love to hear from you, so please engage with the comments below. Whether it's a question, your thoughts, or even just an emoji for the sake of engagement, every comment counts. We read every single comment, and your feedback is incredibly valuable to us, as it all contributes to our mission of expanding this community. So please don't hesitate to leave your thoughts below. Additionally, if you'd like to support us further, consider giving a super thanks tip by clicking the heart with the $sign. This small gesture allows us to continue bringing you more of Alex's messages, unfiltered and directly from his lifelong experiences with the Andromedans. Today's video includes a compilation of several of the many important questions Alex Collier has received over the past few years, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video.
Between 1860 and 1920, there were a number of great fires and floods that destroyed ancient architecture throughout the world. Was this an attempt to erase sacred history and technology that included Tartarian, Antediluvian, and Atlantean remains? And if so, why? Asks Gino.
Gino, if you were going to enslave a population, and you're on point on that, okay, we're going to put you on point, and your mission is to enslave a population. The less they know about themselves, the less they know about their past, the less they know about where they've come from, the more easily it is to control and manipulate this population. Because anything that you teach them, they will be getting for the first time. What you do is you kill off the generations that have this knowledge, and the younger generations, you begin a process of re-educating in a completely different way, completely different thought patterns, and with completely different history. In fact, you can even reteach these civilizations to speak a different language because there's no one around left to show them the old ways. This has been done everywhere, in every galaxy, to some degree or more. Wherever there is contrast, this has been done. I think that that is exactly what has happened. And I believe that this destruction goes back to roughly 1000 AD. That's when it really became extremely paramount in re-educating humanity. Now, I don't want to upset anybody by saying this, but I'm just going to. Their religions were on point to destroy the old world and the past so that the re-education of humanity into stupid could commence. That was the only way they were going to remain in power, was to make us stupid and dumb us down. It was the only way they were going to remain in power. And there were a lot of hiccups along the way. There have been a couple times I think they were close to losing control of humanity. But they always had this ancient technology tucked away and hidden in places. For example, and I know Elena's talked about this. I know Michael Sala has talked about this, and I guess he's going to be readdressing this as well. Those who have been to Antarctica, those that talk about Antarctica, those who talk about the arcs, there are places, and I'm just going to stick to Earth now, depositories of technology that exist, that there is technology there that goes back over 1 million years. There are huge, deep underground caverns in both the Philippines and Indonesia, where technology, at least one of every new piece of technology that's been built for the last 100,000 years, at least one of those is taken into these depositories, these underground caverns, and is stored there. And I mean, we're talking flying machines, flying carpets, spaceships, laser technology, healing technology. At least one of everything is being stored in these underground caverns. I know this for a fact. So, they're scared, the dark side is scared shitless of us finding out about all this. They really are. And they have every reason to be. Every reason to be. They have been sabotaging humanity for tens and tens and tens of thousands of years. And one of these depositories is on the island of Sulawesi. And I've probably said too much already. It's all going to come out. They can't hide it much longer. I'm sure the White Hats and the Space Force knows where it is. I'm sure that there have been briefings between Space Force and Alliance about some of that technology, because it may be 1 million years old, but it's really, really far advanced technology that may belong to the founders, to the ancient builders, and the planet makers. We probably don't have the sophistication to even know how to play and dabble with this type of technology. So you would think that they would say, look, we're aware of this. We need to have conversations about these depositories of technology. And, we will leave it here. However, there are going to be some conditions for you to use them because of where you are both physically, mentally, and spiritually, you haven't reached an advanced maturity yet to even use this type of technology, even though it's 1,000,000 years old in your time. God, man, there's so much going on. There is so much going on.
Regarding quantum jumping and multiple versions of ourselves, could there be many versions of us in different universes experiencing other lives perfectly in each universe? And if so, are they impacting each other through dreams and instances of deja vu, etc.? Suggested by a friend who saw the new movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yes, I'd like to see that too.
Okay. I've heard of the movie. I haven't seen it yet. Is it possible? It certainly is. It certainly is. God is great. God is everywhere. Or source is everywhere. Creator is great. Whatever, however you want to address that faculty. But when it comes to this particular galaxy right now, it's all hands on deck. So whatever parts of you are living a perfectly blissful life in a higher frequency or dimension in this galaxy, this holograph, all hands are on deck here to see that this gets done. It is my understanding that the parts of me that are in higher realms are entirely focused on the mission here now. And I'm going to assume that every soul that's here on this planet, whether you're starseed or walk-in or boots on the ground, your entire focus is on this mission. Because the implications of the success of this, my understanding is profound what it does for the galaxy. It's profound. The failure of this mission simply cannot be. It simply cannot be. Hence, all of the resources being devoted to the galaxy, from the galaxy and outside the galaxy, to what's happening on Earth right now. To the ascension protocols being implemented. Ladies and gentlemen, that's no small thing. That is no small thing or task. All right? You are talking about the elevation of physicality from one to another. In other words, you're taking the physicality and jumping it. That is no small task. And the soul groups that find themselves here on the planet now, that are from not only multiple dimensions, but from multiple galaxies, everyone's involved. Everyone has an interest in seeing the outcome of this being successful. So, I see a lot of people getting lost in the weeds with what's going on here. Talking about timelines, that information, in my personal opinion, is simply irrelevant because they no longer are there. They don't exist. So we're getting stuck in those weeds and going after stuff and putting our energy and our focus into something that's irrelevant at the moment, completely irrelevant. Because everything is right here, right now in front of us. What we're creating is in front of us. It is not behind us. Okay? We don't live there anymore in the past. We don't live there anymore. We have to reckon with and agree to what's here now. And the big question is, okay, we're creating our future. What do we want? It always comes down to that. What do you want? What do we want as a collective? And if we're getting lost in the weeds, if we're listening to the bullshit media, Bravo, Sierra, this and that, all negative, da, 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 it's the same thing. It's to keep everyone divided. So our energy remains scattered. And they win. We're actually giving them the time to not make the last move, because we're allowing ourselves to be scattered, to attach our existence to a pronoun. So, one's existence and identity comes down to a word. A word. Instead of what the hell they really want. And whatever that is, you have to integrate it with humanity. We all have to be on the same page. Even though we're on different journeys, we all have to be on the same page. And that is the outcome of a free humanity. A humanity that steps into its own power, steps into its leadership role, and refuses to be coerced by some other authority. I don't know why people try to make this and turn it into rocket science, because it isn't. It's not rocket science. If you break down all the noise into the simplest of equations, it's really quite simple. Do you want to be free? Do you want to live a life of spiritual evolution and evolvement? Do you want your family to grow up in a safe place and your children to be safe, to evolve and become all that they possibly can be, whether it's third, fourth, or fifth density? How hard is that question to answer? Shouldn't be hard at all. And if you don't have children, then the question applies to you. Is this what you want for yourself or your partner or your mate? You see, that's why I've in the 30 plus years that I've been doing this, I've seen a lot, and I've kept my mouth shut as well, because I had to. I've had to protect friends, to protect my children. Those three guys that approached me at my mailbox when we were living in Boulder, after we had just had our first child. They had a list. They had a manila folder. They had a list, and they read down the name of everybody on that list. That if I didn't shut the fuck up, they were gone. That was the message, directly to my face. Now, it's not that scary anymore. Because they got bigger fish to fry. And they're now being hunted. They're not hunting us. They're hunting the children still. But I'm at this place in my life where, I just, guys, you have no idea how magnificent you are. You just don't. You have no idea how incredible every single one of you are and can be. Your personal power, your personal potential, the beings that you are that are wrapped up and hidden in isolation because of fear or lack of appreciation for yourself or low self-image, all of which isn't real. They're just belief systems that you have been fed, that you have taken to heart and you believe to be true about yourself. None of it's true. None of it's true.
Hello, you. Can you share a bit of knowledge about organic technology, please? I am thinking especially about sentient living spacecraft. I know a bit, but Thorhan told me that you'd like to share about that from a Zenitean perspective. Big hug from Elena.
I didn't know you were here.
She's been watching.
I wouldn't have said those nice things if I knew you were here. I'm kidding. The Zenitean ships are organic. They're grown. They're living components. I want to say that they're they are a living organism, but they have the ability to travel through space. They have the ability to change their shape. They have the ability to repair themselves. And honestly, I'm not quite sure how to even describe it. I can tell you that it breathes, that it has its own resonance, excuse me. You can feel when you're on the ship and you're quiet, you can feel its pulse. You can feel it, and it's completely different than any of the crew or any of the other equipment that's on the boat. That's what I call a ship. It's a boat, and it responds. It even has emotions. It does. It feels. It senses. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen where we have been traveling, and all of a sudden, Mornay he'll turn, and I'm like, "What's up?" He goes, "It's her." He refers to his ship as a her, and then he'll move, and on occasions I've followed him, and he'll walk into the command center or the cockpit. It's actually much bigger than that, and the rest of the crew will be there, and they will turn simultaneously, and they will be communicating with him. And then he'll walk over and he'll place his hands on this control panel, and the ship brings up everything that he needs to know. And the ship is telling him that in this one particular circumstance, the ship was telling him he needed to make a course correction, that there was something in the way, and that the ship wanted to avoid it. And that's exactly what they did. But the ship was communicating with him. And there was a sense of urgency because I saw it on his face. And that's emotion. That's just not an idea. That was an emotion that he felt. And I have felt that a type of similar of emotion from the ship several times when it was time for me to come back to Earth. So I've never talked about this, ever. Where I didn't want to leave. That part I've shared with you, where I didn't want to leave. You know? And I felt this longing. And I could feel the ship express its gratitude for me being there because I love being there. I absolutely love being there. Guys, you have no idea what it's like. Holy shit. I've never felt safer, ever, than when I'm there on board. See, this is why I don't talk about it. It's amazing. You know, and the ship knows me, and you know, and if it is a woman, then I know it as much as any man could know a woman, which is about like that much. But I love being there. I absolutely love being there. So it's you know, the ship responds to my sorrow when it's time for me to leave. So so it feels it's alive. They're remarkable. I cannot tell you exactly what it's made of, but I know that they're grown specifically for the crew, that specific crew. And when the ship is done, each crew member will stand on a platform underneath the ship. The ship is lowered down, and they send this frequency through the crew member into the hull of the ship. And it lasts for a bit. Truthfully, I can't even tell you how long because I have no sense of time once you're up there. But it's this frequency, woo, 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 and it's moving right through, and it's the cellular memory of the crew member, and everything they are and represent is put into the craft. So the craft knows them intimately, and the crew member becomes an extension of the ship, and the ship becomes an extension of the crew member. They are one. And it does this with each person, which is why when you find a ship and the hull hasn't been breached, whether it's been a crash or something, you're not going to get into it. You're just not going to get into it unless your DNA is one that the ship knows. So it doesn't matter if it's a craft, doesn't matter if it's a pod. If you don't have the signature DNA that was associated with that ship or pod, it's a relic. It's a relic. It's a very large paperweight because you're not going to get into it unless the ship decides to trust you and will open, or you have the right DNA signature. And if you don't, it's a paperweight because you're never going to get into it. It's really amazing. It's really, really amazing. Especially when it's an interdimensional ship. You know, there's just no way to get into it, because it can move in and out, and it will choose what to do. Because it's aware. The ship is self-aware.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found it insightful, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future updates. If you have any questions relating to today's video, please also leave them below. We read all the comments and take on board what our viewers have to say about Alex Collier's work. Remember, your support helps Alex Collier's knowledge and the messages from the Andromedans reach more people. If you'd like to support the channel even more, you can give us a super thanks tip by clicking the heart icon with a $sign. It really helps our team bring you more content. Also, be sure to visit alexcollier.org to sign up for our regular email newsletter. It's the best way to stay updated with the latest news, exclusive content, and upcoming live webinars. For the latest insights from Alex Collier, check out alexcollier.live. And if you want to explore over 250 past webinars, head over to alexcollier.tv. Thank you for being a part of this journey and supporting Alex Collier's work. We couldn't do this without you, and we're genuinely grateful for your support. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the vast mysteries of our universe. If you would like to see the Andromedan contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, we hold a live online seminar every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information on upcoming live webinars, please visit alexcollier.org.